Hey, Tom No from Atomic Enrollment. Today we're going to be going over a case study of how we're helping a real estate investment coaching program, education program, scale consistently to multiple six-figure months and scaling. This client, when they first came to us, they were under our usual kind of generally what we're looking for, about $100,000 a month in revenue. They were about $50,000 a month in revenue. But yeah, I mean, we love the program, great track record, love the team, and we saw an opportunity to really scale here and help people. So let me give you some context to start. This program is a real estate rental arbitrage. So historically, there was a lot of like Airbnb, you buy a house, Airbnb, and that was a very inefficient model. I actually was a believer in this specific client because I was an Airbnb investor myself. I did that, and it was really hard. And there was a lot of downsides. You know, we were luckily able to be successful in our investment, but yeah, it was really hard. And I understood this opportunity so well. We decided to take this client on, and we're scaling. The goal is $1 million a month in new revenue, and we basically have a live webinar funnel as well. But basically, the different thing about this specific program was, instead of buying the property, you rent property. And then instead of selling to vacationers, they were selling their properties to more corporate housing, like traveling nurses, traveling business people. Of course, there's some vacation rental as well, long-term stays, that type of audience, more corporate kind of business housing. So we saw that as an exciting opportunity. The client himself was running a very successful portfolio himself. Now he's teaching it to others. Basically, we're currently around like $250,000 to $300,000 a month. We should be breaking $500,000 a month shortly here. And we're about 10xing the business here with live webinars. Now let's go over some industry stats. When you're selling a live webinar, getting somebody who's at a webinar to book a call is about 15%. The problem is cold audiences, they're cold for a reason. It takes some nurturing and some volume to get these people to convert and make your ads profitable with a live webinar funnel or any type of advertising funnel. Basically, we more than doubled all these metrics, therefore making a successful live webinar funnel where we're doing about 3 to 4x ROAS on cash collected. So it's way higher on revenue. This is about an $8,000 to $10,000 program. So to start, attracting the right people into the funnel and making sure they understand the opportunity was very important here. So positioning the offer, the messaging, the hooks was the start. So we basically saw a pattern, identified the pattern real fast of these are generally people working a day job and they're looking to make some side money. I would say like half of them looking for side money, half of them looking to eventually replace their day job income. And more importantly, being able to have a path to retire. So we're speaking to the people who have W-2 jobs. We saw a big pattern among nurses because we want to attract. The problem with selling this type of stuff online is you're going to attract a lot of people who don't have the funds if you're not dialed in on your messaging. So you have to really understand who your core customers and clientele are. So another one we saw was nurses, or a good one because they're just grinding all the time and they make good money, but they're looking for a way out. People who are approaching retirement, they're like in their 50s, late 40s, and they don't see a path. They're seeing the gap in their retirement portfolio, their 401k. So this is a way to supplement that income. Small business owners who understand running a business systems. It's like the perfect type of clientele because this is at the end of the day a business to run if you're especially going to do it at scale. So understanding that core audience very well, or else you're going to be attracting a bunch of turds into your live webinars. Getting the wrong people in the room for the live webinar kills you. Getting the right people in the room for a live webinar makes all the difference. That's really the key to making live webinars work well and scale. So as you can see here, we track all our metrics here diligently: cost per lead, webinar show rates, cost per call, show rates, et cetera, et cetera. So we got the ads dialed in where, to be honest, selling this type of program to the general public is not for the faint of heart, because when you're selling this to the general public with advertising, it's a very big, broad market you're competing against. So cost per lead and CPMs are higher than average. So if you don't understand what you're doing, this is not for the faint of heart, because on the front end, it looks like we have like $30, $40 cost per leads. But if you get the right people in the funnel, you can still be very profitable overall, which is where we're at, right? So that's why we're trending around $30 cost per lead, but we get the right people in the funnel and all the back end metrics hold. That's why this is able to be successful. And also one of the things that is very important is calling out your opportunity very clearly in your landing page messaging. Just talking about the opportunity and basically their goals and desires for their specific situation is very important. Understanding the opportunity. This was one of the key parts of making this successful, making the ad successful, is asking them just straight up if they have more than $5,000 to invest. And you may think that it's kind of a low number because our offer is actually closer to 10. We tried 1, 3, 5, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10. And 5K is the sweet spot because you're going to scare people off. You go higher and just like the volume is not in your favor. The odds are not in your favor. If you go too low, you're going to attract too many people who don't have the funds. 5K was a sweet spot. So that further trains the pixel of bringing the right quality people with the funds into the room of the live webinar. So we get about 30, sometimes 40% of people to show for the live webinar. We run 2 webinars a week. We get about 30% of the people who show up to the webinar to book a call. And then it's good old fashioned sales on the back end. Couple things that were challenging at times was SMS and email deliverability tanked for outlier reasons. We had a domain expire. We had a number go down. And that tanked our show rates so hard that it made this funnel very unprofitable. So we had to fix that real fast, which is a heavy lift. We had to bring the right vendors in. We had to help fix it as well. So once we got that dialed in, we're back to business. So that was one challenge along the road. That's very important. So make sure your numbers are working well. Your email deliverability is good. Those type of things are very important. Keep your email list clean. So the next step is getting to 500K a month. Doing financial modeling is very important to start. The main reason is you got to identify your sales capacity. So if we want to break 500K a month, we modeled it out, the financial modeling, as you can see here. We need to generate about 260 calls a month. So if it's 260 calls, about 25 working days, that's about 11 calls a day. An average rep can handle about a good 7 calls. So you can see like, oh, we're going to need more than 1 sales rep, like 2 sales reps. So that's why doing financial modeling is very important for that. If for nothing else, being able to forecast your sales capacity and when you're going to need to bring in a salesperson, very important, because bringing on new salespeople could be turbulent, right? Because you got to train them, you got to give them calls, you got to make sure they do well and not waste calls. So doing this type of financial modeling is very important. So once all the metrics are dialed in, then you bump spend, making sure the sales capacity is good, the salespeople are coming along. And what was very important here is making as we scale here was the founder-led creatives was hitting a bottleneck because a lot of the core clientele was a woman, different ethnic backgrounds, unrelated to the founder. So the founder is doing ad creatives, but we hired a team of actors to record content, similar hooks and scripts, and that's been working very well to drive down the cost per lead and keep the quality high as well. So we're going to do that consistently going forward to scale. So that's one lever we're pressing hard on to get to $1 million a month. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions on live webinars or anything else, feel free to reach out to us and take care.